That is good. No, that is a teaching process.
Would you please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, and then please remain standing for the invocation. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father, we ask you to guide us in this meeting so we may be united in the spirit of mutual respect and in the healthy exchange of our ideas. Help us to work together for the good of all in our community. Amen.
Amen.
In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, this is to announce that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided. Also pursuant to the 2015 bylaws, rules, and regulations of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Burlington, time shall be set aside on the agenda for the receipt of public comments. Public comments will be received with respect to agenda items prior to board consideration of resolutions to be adopted. An additional opportunity for public comment will occur later in the meeting. Public comment shall be limited to 5 minutes per speaker. Unused time may not be transferred to another speaker. Persons may speak once per public comment period. I direct the Deputy Clerk to enter into the minutes of this meeting this public announcement and the advance written notice of this meeting. Freeholder Bellegarde.
Here.
Freeholder Donnelly.
Here.
Freeholder Gargano.
Here.
Freeholder Schwartz.
Here.
Director O'Brien.
Here. All right, at this point, I'll be looking for approval of the minutes of the conference and regular minutes meetings of October 14th, 2015.
Move for approval.
A motion by Freeholder Gargano, second by Freeholder Bellegarde. Any questions? Any additions?
Director, just for the record, this is only for the regular meeting? Approval of minutes of the regular meeting of October 14th?
Yes, it is solely for the,
Yeah, so
October 14th.
yeah, the regular meeting.
Regular meeting.
Just the regular meeting. So the motion is for the regular meeting of October 14th, 2015. And there was a motion by Freeholder Gargano, second by Freeholder Bellegarde. Are there any questions? Any additions? All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Abstain.
Okay. Abstention for Freeholder Donnelly. And the minutes are approved. All right. At this point, we will move on to public comment on agenda items. All right. So since there are no public comment on agenda items. Yes, there is. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. All right. If you could please state your name and your municipality.
Good evening, Mary Ann Reinhardt, Chemung Township, New Jersey. On the agenda, F4, it states one or more improvement lease agreements and equipment lease agreements. I want to know, I'm going to tell you which ones I want, and then you can give me the answers afterwards. I want to know how many. It says one or more. You go to number F7, the body armor. I want to know what kinds of body armor. F11 is you're going to award and or reject contracts. I want to know how many are being awarded and how many rejected. F17, or F7 rather, the shelter home for juveniles, if you can give an explanation on that. Number F18, and the county agrees to reimburse records for a portion of the salaries of record employees. I want to know how much they were being paid and what the overall percentage is. F19, we have site-specific amendment to the Tri-County Water Quality Management. What does the amendment change? Second amendment, number F20 is second amendment to T&M. I want to know what the amount of the original agreement was. On F21, what is the connector trail? F24, F25, F26 through F30. All these first amendments. And then you have a second amendment on F31. What was the original agreement amount? And what was the percentage of the amendment on the amounts. And then the authorization to acquire the property owned by Christopher Odell. I just wanted to know, is that the property that involved the sinkhole, F-33? Is this the first amendment? It doesn't say, it just says Amendment 2, resolution, and that's it.
So the first one, if you wanted to come up so we could, if we had any questions with regard to the request. Okay, so the first one was F4.
Yes.
And your question with regard to F4 was?
Well, you have one or more improvement lease agreements. Do you not know how many agreements that you have on the table right now?
So, and Troy? Mark? Mark Crescent? Mark, you can come up. Please.
When the county has been doing capital projects, they do it through the Burlington Bridge Commission. It's a more economical way to finance capital projects. And it does so through the use of lease agreements. Generally, there's one for different types of equipment that may be purchased, and another one for actual types of construction services. So there's generally two. Bond counsel writes the resolutions for us, and for us and other counties that do lease capital agreements for their capital improvements generally phrase it as one or more. So it's really more or less standard language, but in practice, there's generally two.
So you tell me two, so there's one for improvement lease agreements, and then there's one for equipment lease.
Generally, yes.
But I mean, what they're going to be voting on tonight. So you tell me there's only one.
It's an introduction tonight,
Mhm.
and there's a hearing at the next board.
Thank you.
Okay, and the next one was F7 body armor.
I have that.
Mr. Troy?
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, this is a grant that we've received from Law and Public Safety to purchase body armor on behalf of the jail officers.
F11?
Well, you know, body armor doesn't tell me anything. Is it face mask? Is it going to be a protective vest? What kinds of body armor?
I'm going to believe it's the vest. I don't know if there's anything else included, but I believe this is to purchase the vest.
I think that's what was presented to us at the conference.
Yes.
All right, F11 is a resolution authorizing award of rejection of contracts. Are you able to
I have that
address
as
that?
well. There were 4 awards. They were for purchase of concrete, boiler maintenance, purchase of uniforms. There was a proposal that went out to upgrade the fire simulators at Law and Public Safety. And we went out for a solicitation for batteries, ballasts, and lamp recycling. We did not receive any bids, and we intend to go out again for a second time. So there were 4 awards and 1 no bid.
Next one, I believe, was F16 with regard to...
Well, the one that they didn't accept, there was only one rejected, is that correct?
There was no bid, so we didn't go out on this.
So there were no rejections.
There was no rejection.
All
Thank you.
right, the next one is with regard to evaluation and assessments of juveniles for fire setters and sex offenders. What was your question about that?
The extension of the 3 months, what was the reasoning for the extension?
Oh, so you're talking about F7, not F16?
F16.
I don't have 16, I have F17. The shelter homes?
The shelter homes. Okay, it's 17. And a question about the extension. Do we have?
Oh, I'll deal with those.
Okay.
F-18,
It's,
they received a salary increase commensurate with the CWA contract, based on your question. For F-19,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Freeholder Donnelly, we were on 17 with regard to the shelter homes, and you were asking about the extension for 3 months.
Yes.
We have Anna Pianza here. Okay, Ms. Pianza, could you come up just quickly and address about the 3-month extension?
Certainly. This is for provision of services for folks who are experiencing crisis in the home and are referred to the Family Crisis Intervention Unit. And we're revisiting how that will be contracted for next year. And while the new bid is being developed, we're extending the existing services for 3 months.
So you haven't gotten back any bids, is that it? Or you didn't advertise them?
We have just begun the process and just want to ensure that the service is continuing in January while the new contract is.
Then we can go on to the ones for Freeholder Donnelly. I believe they were 19, 20?
18, 20, and 21. But I won't apologize, I heard you say extension, and I just jumped right in.
That's right, all right.
With regards to the extension service and the county's reimbursement to them, it was commensurate with the agreement that we negotiated with the CWA in terms of the rate. For F-19,
Excuse me, if I could just know the portion. You mentioned portion.
what portion?
Rutgers for a portion of the salaries. Is it half? Is it a third?
MP, don't bother getting up. Do you know what the portion is?
It's 30 for the ag agents and 10% for the 4-H.
Thank you. F-19 affords us certain abilities to improve the sewage treatment area at Willingboro Lake, so it gives the county greater opportunities to provide for a better recreational opportunity for our residents. F-20 with T&M Associates.
Excuse me, it's
I'm
not,
not, you've had public comment. I'm answering your questions now.
I know, but you're not answering my question.
I wrote
When
them
you
down.
say site-specific amendment, what are you amending that was site-specific?
The sewer service plan at Willingboro Lakes.
Still not answering it. I'll request that. Go
Good
ahead.
thought. F-20, MP, what was the first amount on this?
$31,450.
Thank you. So 31,450 was the first agreement, 26,700 is the second amendment. And MP, where is the connector trail itself specifically?
The connector trail that we're looking at under this contract will take us from Artie's Mount down into the fairgrounds through preserved open space.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then 21, that's that. Okay, so then we go on to, what was the next one? F-24?
Yeah, F-24 through 30.
F-24 through 30 would be, basically, they're not to exceed amounts, so we can finish off the 530 projects.
Okay, the only reason I was concerned about those is its first amendment. So,
It's because it was an original contract that these, and this is basically just to finish them off, in case there's any types of changes that are have to be made, just to do the fine tuning.
so you're adding another $10,000?
Not to exceed. Some will be used, not all.
Okay, because it says not, it doesn't say not to exceed, it just says in the amount of 10,000.
Well, it's not
all
to
of those.
exceed, same difference.
No, it isn't.
Oh, in your opinion, it's not.
Okay, then we went on to 31,
Yes.
F-31, F-32, and 33.
31 is pretty much self-explanatory, for the additional planning services for relocations. F-32 is yes.
No, 31, I want to know what the original amount was.
Carl?
Further, I don't have that amount in me, with me, but it is in the resolution that's being passed tonight, the full body of the resolution, the amount, original amount.
So we'll read that. Thank you.
32, yes, it is a sinkhole. That is the project that collapsed over on the riverbank. And 30, was it 33 or that was, I thought 32
Yes.
was the last one.
33.
530.
It's 530 again. You know, most of these are basically 530 projects, so we can deal with the safety issues along with 530. I think how many years in coming, Joe? Was it
1987.
1987? So it's finally getting done, and this is just part of the process of acquiring the land to keep it moving forward.
Okay, my question was, it says amendment, didn't say if it's a first amendment, second amendment. This is on F-33.
I can answer it if you want.
All right, good, Joe.
There was an error in the recording of this. There were two separate properties, if I remember correctly. One was in only one owner's name, the other was in a couple's name. When we tried to execute the purchase of these easements, we were unable to do so because they were recorded incorrectly, so we fixed that.
So it's been changed. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else for public comment on agenda items?
I just have a question.
Come up.
Hey, sorry, I didn't know if there was someone behind me. It's just a question.
If you could please state your name.
Jen
and your-
Reppert.
Sorry,
Jennifer Reppert,
okay, and your town?
Delran.
Okay.
So ironically enough, my question has to do with Delran, F14. So I'm just curious why the freeholders would be involved with a private residence getting a loan from housing of urban development. Which is an education question.
It's pretty common for us to do that through HUD. There are block grant programs out there and folks with affordable issues. We do this through the federal, it's federal pass-through dollars, it's actually not Burlington County.
So is that either taxpayers' money from Burlington County going towards this loan?
Well, I would have to say, to be honest with you, I'd have to say yes, because we pay federal income taxes, so it's Burlington County residents
But I'm
tax.
talking about like Burlington County taxes.
Property tax, no, there are
I
no
got you,
property
but we all
tax.
pay federal taxes, so yes, I got that.
Federal dollars.
Gotcha.
Federal dollars through the block grant
All
program.
right, so then it's a block grant program that kind of gets distributed through the county with HUD?
With the
Okay.
fiduciary.
Pass
yes.
through.
So then how would you go, like, how, there's only one here, I would think that you'd see more people borrowing, do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes,
They come up
several
pretty
come
regularly.
through, yes. They do
Okay.
come through
So maybe it's the
often.
first time I saw that then.
Probably,
Very
yeah,
good.
there usually is one each time.
Gotcha, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, anyone else for public comment on agenda items? All right, with that, I'll make a motion that we approve resolutions G1 through 17 by unanimous consent.
Second?
Okay, motion by O'Brien, second by Freeholder Donnelly. Any questions?
Surprisingly, I have a couple of questions.
Okay, very good.
I have a lot of questions,
But they happen to be on the bills.
They are, in fact, on the bills. So, Mr. Troy, if you don't mind. I don't actually have too many questions tonight. Hate to disappoint you. On page 13 of the bills, the Burlington County St. Patrick's Day Parade, I need to recuse myself. Do you have the legal bills for me?
I do.
Wonderful. Page 84, there is an entry there for Taylor, Wiseman, and Taylor. Actually, two separate entries, $6,520 for engineering design and $7,200 for various capital improvements, totaling $13,720. Can you tell me what each of those, a little bit more specifically, what each of those are?
I can freeholder the top one for 6520. This had to do with Bridge C4-4. This is the Center Road Bridge.
Okay.
And the $7,200 is to do an engineering project for reconstruction on Taunton Lakes Road in Evesham.
Okay. And that is all we have tonight. I know, I said I'm sorry to disappoint you.
It's okay.
Any other questions?
I will be abstaining on page 55, New Jersey Carpenters.
Okay. And I will be abstaining on resolution F15. Okay. So, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? And abstentions as noted. We'll move on to Freeholder Donnelly.
Thank you, Director. This time I would move for unanimous consent of resolution items numbered F18 through F21.
Okay, motion by Freeholder Donnelly, second by Freeholder Gargano. Any questions? And hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it. Move on to Deputy Director Gargano.
Thank you, Director. I'd like to make a motion to approve items F22 to F35 by unanimous consent.
Okay, motion by Freeholder Deputy Director Gargano, second by?
Second.
Freeholder Bellegarde. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it. Right, we'll move on to questions from the press. Do you have any questions from the press? At this point, then, we'll move on to public comment. This time, any resident can speak on any item. We don't have a sign, no one has signed in, okay? So I'll just look, I see a hand. Okay,
Are you doing public comment?
yes, public comment.
I just wanted to come before the board tonight to request that the board reconsider amending the Open Space and Farmland Preservation Trust of the county, that they amended before just to include open space for recreation and farmland preservation, but to add to that historic preservation. Because the name of the trust itself is Open Space, Farmland Preservation, and Historic Preservation. When I was part of this board, and I presented this proposal, initially it was to Bill Haynes, but then Freeholder Gargano came in, we talked about it, and then in the midst of 3 months, it just became farmland preservation and recreation. So once again, and I want to be on record, that I am requesting this, and this is the 8th year that I've requested it. There are many local historical societies that need these monies for preservation, maintenance, and upkeep. And my second issue is, if someone can tell me what they are doing with the Pemberton campus from the county college.
Well, I think that question is best asked to the trustees of the college because they're ultimately responsible for the campus. What in fact the county has done over the last several years is work to realize greater synergies between our operations, but when it still comes down to the actual location and co-location of facilities, those decisions reside with the trustees. So we're not in a position to give you any further insight as to what the plans for Pemberton is. I think the trustees would be a better.
Okay, what member of the board is the liaison to the?
I am.
You are. Okay, and there hasn't been any talks or any recommendations or any kinds of suggestions at what they can do with this facility? As you
No,
being
not
a
to this
member?
board.
Pardon?
No, not to this board.
Okay.
Or me as a
yourself.
representative of this board.
Okay.
No.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, I thought I saw your hand.
Mr.
Okay.
Chairman.
Yes. Good evening. If you could please state your name and your town.
Janet Curran, West Hampton. I just have a few things that I'll try to make short with you. I have always did a review and kept up on things of the past and what's happening in our future. And I know it mainly will come from the state or the federal government for the funds that we will need. But I happened to write a letter to Governor Corzine in 2016 about the increasing developments, congestion, safety, local bridges, especially along the Rancocas-Irick Road Turnpike bridges. And that was in 2016. Thanks to Mr. Crusoe, I did get a reply from him and that he got an answer from the New Jersey Turnpike that the bridges that overpass the New Jersey Turnpike, I mean, it's backed up for miles and it's only getting worse if you travel Irick Road, Rancocas Road, going towards Centerton, the bridge over the New Jersey Turnpike. It's just getting worse now. So I'm thinking of the future and the funds that we need for all our bridges and our roads. But we're still far away from what this letter was received by me from the governor's office to what they were trying to work on, traffic, congestion, bridges, developments, and it's still happening. So I don't know if there's anything that people want to think about in the future to what is happening with the traffic. It's a nightmare. Rancocas Road is a nightmare. It's like a highway. People travel, tractor and trailers are getting to be a big priority on Rancocas Road coming from the Mount Holly bypass down to Route 130. So I don't know why that is more so now than ever. And I travel 295, I-95, and I see nothing but dump trucks. So it's just something that I've been involved in with being a concerned citizen. It's still a very active program to what citizens are, what you can do as a citizen, and voice your opinion, which we do. But it tells you also how to go about getting things done, which there's not many things getting done about the increase of traffic, roads, bridges, and what is happening with congestion with the new developments that are coming through. And one other thing that I did, and I did make a copy of this for each one of you. Our bridges, roads, and tunnels are crumbling. Time for an extreme makeover. And this report was done in 2005. And basically, I made a copy for you. I know it has to come, you need help, we all need help from the state and the federal government to go back to these plans and look at what they were trying to do back then. One of the, just to go through, if I can find, in 1956, President Eisenhower worked with Congress to create Highway Trust Fund finances by taxing gasoline. Where are we with gasoline? It's back down, but it's very interesting to read going back to this report, 2005. And the last thing that I have is I wanted to, if you can, bring me up to date on what is happening with the Rowan property. And I'd like to leave this letter. This letter is from Nora Dunphy, known as Teacher Dunphy at the Rancocas Friends Middle Schoolhouse. And it just her letter she read to you in June of the Rowan property and her ideas of what it can be done and used for as educational programs. So again, I'd like to just leave this information with you if I can. And again, it goes back to not just you, it goes back to the state and federal government, and we keep writing letters, and we have a group that hopefully we can make a difference, because I see what's happening in my township, and I do not like it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, and thank you for making copies for us. Yes, please. If you could please state your name and your town.
Yes, I am Greg Adams from Morristown, representing the parsimonious curmudgeons of Burlington County. And I would just like to make the comment that I would prefer my tax money not be spent on historical preservation. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. If you could please state your name and town.
Sherry Provost, Willingboro, New Jersey. I wanted to see when there's going to be more discussions about the Centerton Road Bridge. I've heard many different things right before the elections. I've received from the Democratic Party a message stating that the Republicans wanted nothing to do but tear apart the bridge and not reopen it. I live right in Twin Hills, and it's an extra 4 miles for me just to get to the Centerton Creek Road area. And that's round trip. Luckily, I don't work in Hainesport anymore, so it doesn't inconvenience me on a daily basis. But just to go to Wegmans, to go to Costco, it's an extra 4 miles round trip. Plus, on top of that is the dangerous intersections. Now there's so much increased traffic. You get off on 38, and you're lucky to get out of there without having an accident. You get off on Creek Road, good luck trying to get over to make a left on the Centerton Road. So I would just really appreciate it if there could be a serious discussion at some point in time. I saw that there was an estimate for repairing the bridge. I think that we should get 2, maybe even 3 estimates from different people, because not everybody's going to come back with the same ideas, the same plans, the same scope of project. And that's it.
We have a meeting set up
Okay.
next Friday,
Okay.
November 20th, and it will be with the Transportation Commissioner. We have Joseph Bertoni that we are meeting with, and as well as the new Commissioner. So
Okay, great. Thank
we will
you.
be reporting back on that.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Yes?
My name is Mark Knock. I'm from Willingboro, and the young lady took all of my thunder, so I'm not going to repeat that, other than to say, I don't know if you've noticed the traffic now on between the Willingboro exit and the Delran exit. The young lady before me really gave you a good idea of what's happening. What I tried to explain to you prior, and several other meetings we've had, trying to skip over once you come off of 295 going south, come up the exit, trying to get all the way over to the left lane to go down to the market, to the Saturday produce place, and to Wegmans or any place else down there. And I've also had a conversation with Carlucci's, and I was trying to get him to come out. In the evenings, it's a little hard for them because it's their business time, but they have expressed to me that they have seen a drop in business there in terms of it, and I just felt that, well, you have to decide to drop in business or come out here and speak to the freeholders about what it means to have that drop in business. And I want to reiterate the lady even before the last one about the additional traffic on Rancocas Road. I live 4 houses off of Rancocas Road. There are points in time in the morning, in the evening, I cannot make a left turn on the family, and I get concerned because my family have to make the left turn going towards 130. I've been there 30 years, and what's happening is every time there's an increase in the tolls, more trucks and buses are trying to come down 295. The shortcut is to go across Beverly Rancocas to 130 and go down. I used to travel to Philadelphia because I worked in Philadelphia for almost 28 years, and I could tell you almost without even knowing what's happening with the turnpike. I knew it was an accident on the turnpike. I knew it was a problem in 295 going down 130 towards Philadelphia, and I certainly knew when they passed the tolls with the increased traffic. And now it's getting really bad, and I don't think there's much you can do about it because it is a shortcut for trucks, the 18-wheelers, the buses. We're getting a lot more buses, I don't know why, scooting up and crossing over to 295. And I just think at some point you guys have to authorize a traffic study to figure out if there's anything legally that can be done. I don't know if you can or certain times. My main concern living 4 houses off Beverly and Rancocas is the tankers that come through. And I just worry, one night it's going to be a fireball somewhere because now residents are scooting out, across it, trying to make those left turns that they were not able to make before. So again, I'm going to follow up on the last lady's thing, the November 20th meeting. What is the expectation and what is the county going to be asking for the Centerton Road? I can tell you very clearly, it doesn't affect me as much now, I am getting older, but the seniors really have a problem with 295 guys, and that's no joke. Going over there, one lady told me in the Acme that she travels all the way to 130, then come down Delran, go down Bridgeboro Road, and then scoot over, trying to get to the YMCA there, and I guess the Costco. She just said, and then when she comes back, I mean, she's not going 4 miles, she's going like 6 to 8 miles out of her way. So there's something has to be, and she's not the only one, and that's doing that. So we really got to talk about what we're going to do. It is, and I know that is a difficult decision, but we have to get something done about that bridge.
Absolutely. We'll report back after the meeting.
Say it again?
We'll report back after the meeting.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Hello, my name is Lori Howard from Mount Laurel. Nice to see everybody here tonight.
Nice to see you.
Nice. I just came in last minute, sorry about that. So when is the meeting that you have with Director O'Brien? When is the meeting that you have?
It's Friday, November 20th.
November 20th, okay. So what I did recently for the people that are on the Facebook page that we have about rebuilding the Centerton Bridge, I was concerned that I was not hearing, well, I was really thinking that it was most of the people in Willingboro, West Hampton that were mostly affected. So I wanted to put a question out there, and I had about 70 comments, and I didn't realize that it was a much broader group of people that were actually affected by the closing of the bridge. So I heard from people in St. Vincent who use the bridge, Delanco, Burlington, Roebling, Mount Laurel, as well as Morristown. So a lot of people told me that they do travel back and forth, but I also heard from people from Delanco that use that to go to Creek Road, to go back and forth from Creek Road to Willingboro to West Hampton. So I think it is a broader reach. So I think sometimes when people are thinking of the bridge, they're thinking Willingboro, West Hampton, or Willingboro to Mount Laurel or Morristown. But it goes a little bit further. I also know people who live or work with me in Trenton that actually used it when they're coming from Trenton to go to Costco. They lived in Cherry Hill. So a lot of people use that bridge, not just that lived in our area, but that people lived outside the area to find an easier way than dealing with 295, which does get a little chaotic. So the people that did actually travel, that were coming from Trenton, that were using the Centerton Bridge to get to Costco, they just don't go anymore. They don't want to deal with that, getting off 295 and dealing with that crazy merge, and pretty much, you know how that is when you're going off there trying to just be like, well, I'm going to go, trying not to get hit, and just, you have to be really aggressive to deal with that. Another thing that a lot of people have said to me is most of the senior citizens, a lot of, obviously a lot of people, but I really have, the senior citizens pull mostly on my heart, and that's why I'm here, try to be here every couple of weeks, because they can't get out to these meetings, and I feel it's a responsibility for me to be here for them. They just don't want to drive in 295. And the bridge is there, it's been there for years, they're very used to driving it. And I think just us as a county and us as fellow citizens, make sure that we have to think about the senior citizens in our county, making sure they're comfortable and that they're still able to have that quality of life to make sure that they can get the things that they need. Overall, with the infrastructure in our state and our county, I know that you all know this, it's just poor. It's just awful the way that our state has really treated all of our roads and bridges. Sorry, I was running, brushing me there. Just, the way that everything's been treated, and I do appreciate all of you taking the time to listen, the last couple of months to me, coming every couple of weeks, and I appreciate you listening, always looking and paying attention. But really just, I feel very passionate about it because I didn't realize how bad it was until I started researching and seeing, and it really greatly concerns me overall. So anything that you guys can do, I appreciate it. I've been encouraging people they reach out to me, so then therefore I reach out to you. But if we could just get more people to realize whatever we can do to, bring ourselves together to feel, what we can do to bring additional funding from federal or state sources. I know Eric also listened to a webinar last week about the public-private partnerships.
Yes.
But I think as a county as a whole, if everybody saw how bad it was, we might be able to get a little bit more of our citizens to realize it's not just a Centerton Road Bridge, it really affects everybody. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much. Anyone else for public comment? Well,
Just a correction. I wrote the letter to Governor Corzine and received the letter from the Department of Community Affairs. Was 2006, not 2016.
Okay.
We figured that.
Okay, so a little off there, but yeah. All right, thank you very
And
much.
that's where I come in again with the bridges and roads.
Right.
The money that we're looking for the Centerton Bridge, I know how people are their feelings. I look at that and I look at the Centerton Bridge, and we have major highways now that are worse, and you get used to them eventually. Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Kern. All right, anyone else? Okay, with that, I'll close the public portion of the meeting, and we'll move on to freeholder comment. Freeholder Belgard.
Thank you. Thanks to everybody who came out tonight, especially with the change of our weekly meeting this week with Veterans Day. And with that, I just want to recognize the importance of Veterans Day and the hard work that our Veterans Committee here in Burlington County did with their Medal of Honor ceremony today. It was just a lovely ceremony recognizing and thanking our veterans here in Burlington County. So, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Freeholder Schwartz.
And no comment.
Freeholder Donnelly.
Taking it back, no comment.
I'll give my minutes to my fellow freeholder.
Thank you, Director. I'd like to echo the sentiments of Freeholder Bellegarde, who we both did the medal ceremony today out in West Hampton. We had about 65 veterans that participated, and since 2002, this board has distributed, not this board, but this board as a collective, has distributed over 10,000 medals to deserving Burlington County veterans of both conflict and serving in peacetime. And we are grateful for their efforts, and we try to do this at least once or twice a year. The thing that strikes me, as I'm the old man on this board, having been here the longest, is it was amazing 8 years ago, the difference in age versus the veteran that we get at our medal ceremonies today. They are much, much younger men and women that come in for their medals, and I am appreciative of their service, and we do them a debt of gratitude. Councilman-elect Nutt, congratulations. I would welcome the opportunity, once you're sworn in, to have a conversation with you in Willingboro Township about Grand Cocos Road and cost sharing of additional traffic lights that may have to take place over there. We'll task our engineer with facilitating that conversation as soon as you're ready to go. And Director, that is all I have. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you very much, Freeholder Donnelly. Freeholder Gargano.
I have nothing this evening.
Okay. All right, at this point, I'd like to really thank everyone for coming out. We really do appreciate making the efforts to come out and tell us your comments. Very appreciated. So with that, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Freeholder Donnelly, second by Freeholder Schwartz. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.